Did you know that those little nuts you snack on every day might actually be causing some serious health problems in the long run? You've probably heard that nuts like cashews, almonds, and walnuts are great for you, packed with nutrients and perfect for a quick snack. But do you really know the effects they could have on your body, especially as you age? Some nuts can actually contain harmful compounds that you might not even realize, like oxalates or enzyme inhibitors, which can block your body from absorbing important minerals. And if you're dealing with issues like diabetes, kidney disease, or digestive problems, those seemingly harmless snacks might be doing more harm than good. So, the real question is, should you still be eating nuts every day? Are they really as healthy as people say they are? And if you're wondering how to eat them the right way, I've got some helpful tips for you that'll guide you toward making better choices when it comes to your diet. Because as we get older, we need to be a lot more careful about what we're putting into our bodies. Welcome to Healthy Aging Life. Here, we give you all the tips and tricks you need to live a healthier, more vibrant life as you age. In today's video, we're diving into a super important topic: the impact of nuts on your health, especially if you're dealing with blood sugar, joint issues, or digestive concerns. But here's the thing: do you eat nuts every day? And if you do, have you ever wondered if they could be affecting your health in ways you didn't know? If you answered yes, then make sure you don't skip this video, because there's some vital information you'll want to hear. Because sometimes, just a small change in your diet can make a world of difference to your health. Let's take a deep dive into the hidden risks and benefits of nuts. And if you find this information helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, and subscribe to Healthy Aging Life so you don't miss any of our future videos. Share this video with your friends and family too, so they can make smarter health choices as well. Ready? Let's jump right in. Brazil nut daily and removing harmful nuts. Let me tell you about Brazil nuts. These little guys might just be the superheroes of the nut world, especially for folks over 60. You see, Brazil nuts are loaded with selenium, which is a mineral that does wonders for your thyroid. Now, the thyroid is like the boss of your metabolism, mood, and energy levels. When it's not working right, you can feel tired, sluggish, and maybe even a bit grumpy. Not the kind of boss you want, right? Selenium helps keep your thyroid hormones balanced. That means better energy and a happier mood. But it doesn't stop there. Selenium is also great for your nerves. It helps protect the myelin. Think of it like the insulation on electrical wires. It keeps the messages in your brain zipping along smoothly. Without good myelin, things slow down, and your memory might start playing tricks on you. It even helps fight cellular aging. Imagine it as a tiny shield that protects your cells from damage, helping you feel younger on the inside. So yes, one Brazil nut a day can pack a big punch. I once had a patient named Lorraine. She was 72 and told me her mornings felt like a drag, heavy legs, brain fog, you name it. She was snacking on a bunch of nuts, thinking she was doing the right thing. But after a quick look, I suggested she swap out some of her usual nuts for just one Brazil nut every morning. Simple, right? And the change was incredible. Lorraine started waking up feeling lighter, slept better, even dropped a few pounds without trying. Her energy came back, and her mental clarity improved. All from one little nut a day. I told her, "Lorraine, you're basically eating a tiny power plant every morning. But a word of caution, don't go nuts and eat a handful every day. Too much selenium isn't good and can cause problems like nausea or nerve issues. Stick to one Brazil nut daily, and you'll be golden." It's amazing how small changes can make big differences. Lorraine's story reminds me of something Winston Churchill once said about perseverance. Maybe with the right fuel, even if it's just one nut, we can keep going strong. Now, speaking of brain power, let's talk about another nut that's shaped just like your brain. But that's for next time. Let's talk about walnuts. You know, it's funny how nature sometimes gives us clues. Walnuts look a lot like the brain, wrinkles and all. Maybe it's no coincidence. These little nuts are packed with omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenol, which are like a spa day for your brain. Omega-3s are essential fats. They help keep your brain cells healthy and working smoothly. After 50, our brains start to shrink a little every year. It's not fun, but eating walnuts can slow that down. Studies show that seniors who ate walnuts daily improved their brain speed by over 20%. Imagine your brain getting a tune-up just by snacking. Walnuts also contain polyphenol antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier. Think of them as bodyguards that fight inflammation linked to Alzheimer's and other memory problems. So, eating walnuts is like hiring a security team for your brain. Now, if you've ever struggled with sleep, who hasn't? Walnuts might help there too. They have melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest. Many people find that a handful of walnuts before bed helps them fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Better sleep means better brain function the next day. Win-win. On top of all that, walnuts help your heart. They contain arginine, an amino acid that relaxes your blood vessels. This means better blood flow and lower blood pressure. Your heart works less hard, and your muscles and brain get more oxygen. It's like upgrading your body's delivery service. A quick tip: keep walnuts in the fridge. Those healthy oils can go rancid at room temperature. That bitter taste is a sign the fats are turning bad. But a little bitterness can also mean more antioxidants, so don't be too quick to toss them out. Imagine leaders like Barack Obama or Angela Merkel enjoying walnuts to stay sharp during long meetings. Maybe that's their secret to focus. So next time you need a brain boost, grab a handful of walnuts. Speaking of sharp minds, let's move on to another nut that keeps your bones and heart strong. Almonds are more than just a tasty snack. They're a nutritional powerhouse, especially for seniors. Packed with calcium and magnesium, almonds help keep your bones strong and your heart healthy. After 60, it's common for bones to lose density, making them fragile and prone to fractures. Calcium acts like the building blocks of your skeleton, so getting enough is vital to stay sturdy and mobile. But calcium alone isn't enough. That's where magnesium steps in. Think of magnesium as the traffic cop directing calcium where it needs to go, into your bones, and preventing it from building up in your arteries. This helps reduce the risk of heart disease by keeping your blood vessels flexible and clear. Almonds also contain flavonoids and vitamin E, powerful antioxidants that protect your cells from damage caused by free radicals. These antioxidants reduce inflammation and support brain and heart health. Vitamin E, in particular, helps preserve memory and cognitive function, which is crucial as we age. Let me share a story about Joe, a retired carpenter in his late 60s. Joe had been struggling with leg cramps and poor balance, which made climbing stairs a challenge. Instead of jumping straight to medication, Joe added a daily handful of raw almonds to his diet. Over the course of 3 months, his leg cramps decreased, his balance improved, and he regained confidence in walking longer distances. His energy levels went up and he felt more independent, all from this simple change. If you decide to add almonds to your diet, choose raw or dry roasted varieties. Avoid salted almonds because too much sodium can negate their heart benefits. Also, keep the skins on. That thin brown layer is loaded with flavonoids, enhancing their antioxidant effects. Joe's experience shows how small dietary changes can lead to big improvements in quality of life. Almonds support your bones, heart, and overall vitality, making them a smart, natural choice for seniors. Now, while almonds work behind the scenes strengthening your frame and protecting your heart, there's another nut that shines in supporting blood pressure and eye health. Let's explore that next. Let's dive into the world of pistachios. Those tiny green gems that might look unassuming but pack a serious health punch. Don't let their size fool you. Pistachios are loaded with potassium and fiber, two nutrients that play starring roles in keeping your blood pressure and blood sugar in check. And believe me, as we get older, keeping those numbers steady becomes more important than ever. Potassium is like your kidney's best friend. It helps flush out the extra salt your body doesn't need. And when salt gets kicked out, blood pressure drops. Think of it as nature giving your heart a much-needed break. After all, nobody wants their heart working overtime. Then there's fiber, the unsung hero that slows down how quickly your body absorbs sugar. This means your energy levels stay steady throughout the day, avoiding those annoying sugar spikes that can leave you feeling tired or shaky. If you're managing diabetes or just want a smoother energy ride, fiber is your ally. But pistachios don't stop there. They're packed with lutein and zeaxanthin, two powerful antioxidants that act like little sunglasses for your eyes. These nutrients protect your retina from damage caused by aging and sunlight. So, They help keep your vision sharp and your eyes comfortable as the years go by. Because honestly, who doesn't want to keep enjoying stunning sunsets or diving into a good book without squinting? Here's a neat little trick about pistachios. They come in shells. At first, cracking open each nut might seem like a hassle, but it's actually a clever way nature helps you eat mindfully. Shelling each nut slows you down, giving your brain time to register fullness so you don't overdo it. It's like a built-in portion control system, no calorie counting or measuring cups needed. Just sit back, enjoy, and listen to your body's signals. And if you worry about chewing, pistachios are gentle on the teeth, making them a great choice for anyone with sensitive teeth or dentures. So, they're tasty, good for your heart and blood sugar, protect your eyes, and are easy to chew. What's not to love? Imagine influential figures like Bill Gates or Queen Elizabeth enjoying a handful of pistachios to keep their minds sharp and bodies healthy. Maybe that's their little secret to staying on top of their game. So next time you need a snack, grab some pistachios and give yourself a natural health boost. Now, while pistachios help keep you steady and sharp, it's equally important to know which nuts you might want to limit or avoid to protect your health even more. Let's take a closer look at those next. Let's talk about macadamia nuts. They might seem fancy and buttery, the kind of nut you'd picture in a gourmet snack or dessert. But for folks over 60, these nuts can be a bit tricky. See, macadamias are packed with dense saturated fat. That's the kind of fat your body processes more slowly as you age. Too much of it can lead to unwanted weight gain and even raise your cholesterol. Not exactly what we want when we're trying to stay healthy and active. Then there's the gallbladder. Many seniors have silent gallstones without even knowing it. Eating a lot of saturated fat can trigger gallbladder attacks. I remember a patient, Mr. Terrence, a cheerful man in his 70s, who came to me complaining of sudden stomach pain. After a little detective work, we found out he was eating a handful of macadamia nuts every afternoon. That buttery snack was the culprit causing his gallbladder pain. Once he cut back, the pain went away. Simple as that. And if you think the texture is no big deal, think again. Macadamias are dense and hard, which can be tough on aging teeth. If you have crowns, implants, or just sensitive teeth, biting into these nuts can be uncomfortable or even damaging. On top of all that, many macadamia products are roasted in oil and salted, adding more fat and sodium to the mix. Plus, when stored improperly, their fats can oxidize, meaning the oils go rancid and can cause inflammation in your body, putting extra stress on your heart. Here's a fun fact. Because macadamias are soft and buttery, they're dangerously easy to overeat. Most people don't stop at 5 or 6 nuts. They double or triple that without realizing it. For seniors, that can mean more belly fat and a sluggish liver. So, if you really enjoy macadamias, treat them like a special occasion snack, not your everyday go-to. Speaking of treating ourselves right, now that we've talked about the risks of some nuts, it's time to see which ones you should really keep an eye on, or better yet, avoid. Let's jump into that next. Now, let's chat about pine nuts. These tiny little guys often show up in pesto or fancy salads. They might seem harmless, but for seniors, they can cause something called pine mouth syndrome. Ever heard of that? It's a weird, bitter, metallic taste that can last for days or even weeks after eating pine nuts. Imagine that your favorite meal suddenly tastes like a science experiment gone wrong. But that's not all. Pine nuts can also interfere with many common medications seniors take, like blood pressure pills, statins, or antidepressants. They mess with how your liver processes these drugs, making it harder for your body to break them down properly. That's like throwing a wrench in your medications engine. Not good at all. Plus, pine nuts spoil quickly. When their oils go bad, they create compounds that increase inflammation in your joints and arteries. If you're already dealing with arthritis or other inflammation, pine nuts might be adding fuel to the fire without you realizing it. I had a patient with arthritis who loved trail mix but was struggling with joint pain. Once we removed pine nuts from her diet, her joint pain decreased significantly within just 3 weeks. It's hard to believe such a small nut could make such a difference, but sometimes the smallest things have the biggest impact. So, while pine nuts may seem like a fancy, healthy option, for seniors they can cause unwanted side effects. If you notice a bitter taste after eating them, or if you're on medications that might interact, it's worth reconsidering. Speaking of nuts that can cause trouble, let's move on to others you should be cautious about or avoid altogether. Peanuts are everywhere. They're in snacks, peanut butter, even desserts. But here's something most people don't realize. Peanuts aren't actually nuts. They're legumes, and they come with some hidden risks, especially for seniors. One big issue is mold toxins. Peanuts often grow underground in warm, damp soil, perfect conditions for mold. Some molds produce aflatoxins, nasty compounds linked to liver damage and even cancer. It's not something to freak out about, but definitely something to be cautious of. Peanuts are also high in omega-6 fats. Now, omega-6 isn't bad by itself, but too much can cause inflammation in your body. And inflammation is the root of many problems like joint pain, heart disease, and even brain fog. If you're already dealing with arthritis or other inflammatory conditions, peanuts might not be your best friend. Here's another twist. Peanuts can interfere with blood thinners like warfarin. They contain vitamin K, which helps blood clot. That's great for healing cuts, but tricky if you're on blood thinners. Too much vitamin K can mess with your medication, making it harder to control your blood's clotting ability. And peanut butter? Don't think it's always better. Many store brands add hydrogenated oils, sugar, and salt. Even natural peanut butter can be high in sodium. It's easy to overeat and tough to control portions. I once had a patient who loved peanut butter sandwiches but kept experiencing brain fog and joint pain. After cutting back on peanuts and switching to other nuts, she noticed a big improvement. Sometimes, the best choice is to limit peanuts and choose safer alternatives. So, while peanuts might seem like a harmless snack, they come with risks seniors should be aware of. If you're on blood thinners, have inflammation, or worry about liver health, it's worth thinking twice. Speaking of risks, there's one nut that tops the list for seniors, the one you really want to avoid. Let's talk about cashews next. Cashews are a popular snack. They're rich, crunchy, and can immediately satisfy your cravings. However, if you look more closely at the ingredients of this tasty nut, you may be surprised by what lies beneath the surface. First of all, cashews contain a significant amount of carbohydrates. While carbohydrates are essential for energy, consuming too many, especially in the form of snacks, can cause a rapid spike in your blood sugar levels. This is a big concern, particularly for older adults managing diabetes or monitoring their blood sugar. A small change in your diet can have a major impact on your health, and a sudden blood sugar spike is the last thing you want. I remember a patient, Mrs. O'Hara, who loved cashews. She would snack on them all day long. But then, she started feeling fatigued and noticed that her energy levels were unstable. After discussing her diet, she decided to cut back on cashews, and within just a few weeks, she saw a difference. Her blood sugar stabilized, and she felt more energetic than ever. Sometimes, a small change like that can make a huge difference. Another issue with cashews is that they contain oxalates, natural compounds that can bind with calcium and make it harder for your body to absorb the calcium it needs for strong bones. This can be especially harmful for seniors, as we all know how vital bone health is as we age. No one wants to face the risk of brittle bones or fractures. Cashews also contain enzyme inhibitors, compounds that can interfere with the digestion of protein. For most people, this isn't a major concern, but if you have digestive issues or if you eat too many cashews at once, you may experience bloating or discomfort. Certainly not something you want to deal with. Another thing to keep in mind is that cashews spoil quickly. We've all had that frustrating experience of opening a bag of cashews only to find they're rancid. This happens because cashews have a high oil content, which can go bad faster than you might expect. To keep them fresh, store them in an airtight container and, if possible, refrigerate them. This will help you avoid rancid oil and keep the cashews in the best possible condition. So, does that mean you should completely avoid cashews? Not necessarily. Like most things in life, moderation is key. If you love cashews, just be mindful of how many you're eating, and try to balance them with other nuts that are easier on blood sugar and more supportive of calcium absorption. Cashews may not be the best choice for everyone, but if you consume them responsibly, you can still enjoy this beloved snack without worrying about its potential negative impact on your health. Let's take a look at some real-life stories from patients who have experienced the ups and downs of managing their diet as they age. One of the most compelling cases I remember is that of Mrs. O'Hara, whose story truly highlights how even small dietary changes can have significant effects on one's well-being. Mrs. O'Hara, a woman in her late 70s, had been eating cashews regularly, believing they were a healthy snack. However, after noticing her energy levels dropping and experiencing erratic blood sugar levels, she sought advice. After a thorough review of her diet, we identified that her frequent cashew consumption was contributing to the spikes in her blood sugar, which was impacting her energy and overall health. By making the simple change of cutting back on cashews and replacing them with healthier snack options like almonds and walnuts, she was able to regain her energy and stabilize her blood sugar levels. Within a few weeks, she felt more vibrant and was able to get back to her daily activities without the fatigue she once experienced. This story, like many others, shows the profound impact that mindful eating can have on health, especially for seniors. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest adjustments, like swapping a handful of cashews for another nut or snack, can lead to noticeable improvements in energy, mood, and overall health. First things first, let's talk portions. The good news is that nuts are packed with nutrients, but they're also high in fat, the healthy kind, of course. So while they're great for you, moderation is key. For most of the beneficial nuts like almonds, walnuts, and cashews, aim for about a small handful a day. That's roughly 1 ounce or about 28 grams. In terms of actual nuts, you're looking at about 18 almonds, 14 walnut halves, or around 12 cashews. I know, it sounds like a tiny snack, but trust me, that little handful packs a punch. Think of it like a mini power-up for your body, sort of like how a superhero has their favorite energy drink. You don't need to go overboard. Too many, and you'll be eating more calories than you need. Too few, and you're missing out on all that nutty goodness. Now, shopping for nuts can be a bit like a treasure hunt. It's tempting to grab those salted, roasted varieties. They look so tasty. But here's the trick: raw, unsalted, in-shell nuts are your best bet. Why? For one, nuts that are salted often have added sodium, and too much salt can raise your blood pressure over time. Plus, in-shell nuts often last longer. Think of it like a secret vault of freshness. So, when you're in the snack aisle, take a moment and choose wisely. Raw, unsalted, in-shell varieties will not only help keep your sodium levels in check, but also ensure you're getting the freshest nuts possible. Plus, there's something kind of satisfying about cracking open a walnut, sort of like solving a little puzzle while snacking. Okay, so now that we've got our nuts, what do we do with them? The answer is easy. Work them into your meals. The key is combining them with a balanced diet. Nuts are great, but they're even better when paired with other nutritious foods. For example, sprinkle some chopped almonds on top of a salad, add a handful of walnuts to your morning oatmeal, or blend cashews into a smoothie. This way, you're not just getting the benefits of the nuts, but also the fiber, protein, and vitamins from the other ingredients. It's like creating a dream team for your body. Everyone brings something important to the table. Think of it like the Avengers. Each nut has its unique power, but when you combine them, you've got a powerhouse of health benefits. Now, before we wrap this up, let's talk about the other factors that go hand in hand with eating these nuts: hydration, movement, and regular checkups. You can eat all the walnuts and almonds in the world, but if you're not drinking enough water or getting up to stretch your legs, you might be missing out on the full package. Hydration is crucial. It helps with digestion, keeps your skin glowing, and helps all those wonderful nutrients from the nuts get absorbed into your body. And hey, don't forget to move. We're not saying you need to run a marathon or do yoga for hours, but simple movements like walking or stretching can help keep your muscles strong and your joints flexible. Plus, it gives you a reason to enjoy a handful of nuts as a little post-walk snack. Lastly, regular medical checkups are a must. No one likes going to the doctor, but those checkups help catch any issues early on. Just like how we keep our cars in tune, it's important to keep our bodies in check. So, keep those appointments and make sure you're staying on top of your health. So, after learning about all these different types of nuts, I hope you're starting to see that while they have a lot of health benefits, they can also pose some risks if not consumed the right way, especially as we age. Remember the story I shared about Mrs. O'Hara, who made a simple change by cutting down on cashews and saw a huge improvement in her energy and blood sugar levels? It just goes to show that small adjustments to your diet can have a major impact on your overall health. Now, if you're wondering how to make sure your diet stays healthy, I want to remind you one more time. Moderation is key. Eating nuts can be great, but if you don't balance them with the rest of your diet, you might face some unexpected health issues. Keep in mind that your nutrition is more than just the nuts you eat. It also involves staying hydrated, moving your body regularly, and getting those important checkups to keep everything in check. So, here's my last question for you. How are you going to change your eating habits after learning all this? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you eat nuts every day? Will you make any adjustments to protect your health? Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it useful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Healthy Aging Life. If you have any questions about senior nutrition or health, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos. Stay healthy, stay strong, and I'll see you next time.